Hi everybody. The name of my book is The Most Beautiful Thing in the World, a folk tale from China, retold by Barbara K. Walker, illustrated by Jean and Mausen Sang. In this book, there is a king and his three sons.
The title of my book is The Little Red Hen, illustrated by Stephen Holmes. In this story, there is a little red hen and her three friends.
The title of my book is The Three Billy Goats Graph. It's retold by Vera Southgates and illustrated by David Kennedy. In this book, there's a troll and three billy goats.
The name of my book is Three Little Kittens, retold by Sutev. This story is about the three little kittens.
The name of the story is Filling a Space, an Ethiopian folk tale. It's written by T.V. Padma and illustrated by Kloiti Roy. This is a story of a farmer and his three sons.
Filling a Space, an Ethiopian folk tale. There once lived a wise and wealthy farmer. When he grew so old that he could see the shadow of death, he decided to divide his property among his sons. His eldest son was called Girma, meaning respectable or aura of respect. His second son was called Demeke, which means getting brighter or to brighten up. His youngest son was called Brehano, which means light. Once I die, the farmer thought, my sons might quarrel. It is best that they know my wishes now and agree to them. So he called his sons and said, my children, I want to divide my property amongst you today while I am still alive. If you wish to question my judgment, you may do so now, and I will explain my reasons to you. Thank you, father, said Girma, Dameke, and Brehano. My land is easy to divide, said the father, so each of you will have a portion that is the same size. Thank you, father, the three sons said. Who will inherit the house, father? Brehano then asked. The father smiled and his eyes twinkled. That is a difficult question. I would like the house to go to the cleverest of my children. Which of you is the cleverest? That is for you to decide, father, said Girma. Indeed it is, the father agreed. Here is how I will decide. He beckoned to the sons that they went up close to him. He opened his fist. On his palm lay 3 small coins. Here is a coin for each of you, the father said. Take it to the market and spend it. The one who buys something that can fill this room will inherit this house. Go now. Remember, you may each spend just this 1 coin and return before dark. The house was strongly built and beautiful, and all the sons loved it. Each wanted to be the one to whom the house was bequeathed. They left at once for the market. When they reached there, they parted ways. Girma thought for a long time. Then he had an idea. He ran back to the farm and pushed a wagon to the market. He filled the wagon with straw. There was a lot of straw to be had even for just 1 coin. He was very pleased with himself. Perhaps he didn't have enough straw to fill the whole room, but he was sure his purchase would fill more space than anything his brothers could buy. The Meke thought for a little longer than Girma had done. What could he get with a coin that would be plentiful enough to occupy a lot of space in the room? Feathers! He could get sacks and sacks of feathers. I'm sure to get the house, he shouted joyfully, and he sang all the way back to the farm carrying the large, light sacks. Girma and the Meke waited for Brehano to join them, but the hours went by and he did not appear. Then, just as the sun fell down below the horizon and the darkness of twilight began to creep across the ground, Brahanu returned. Girma smiled when he noticed that Brahanu had neither sack nor wagon. He has not been able to think of an idea, he thought. Poor Brahanu. Are you empty-handed, brother? Demeke burst out in surprise. Have you already given up? Brahanu shook his head. Not quite, he said. The sons entered the house together and stood in front of their father, who smiled at them. Shall you try first, my firstborn? He asked Girma. Girma nodded. He brought the wagon close to the front door and began to spread his straw on the floor. When all the straw had been strewn, the room was still more than half empty. Well done, said the father, and Girma smiled. Well done indeed, brother, but perhaps I can do better, said Demeke. Perhaps, said the father. Let's see you try now. The boys cleared the house of straw and Demeke began to pour the feathers out of his sacks. When Demeke had emptied the last sack, the room was still less than half full. The father sneezed slightly because a feather had flown into his nose. Now we shall see what our youngest has to offer, he said. The three swept the house clean of feathers, and then Brahanu came into the room empty-handed. He took something long and thin out of his right pocket. It was a candle, which he placed in the center of the room. Then he pulled something small out of his left pocket. He struck his match and lit the candle. The flame sputtered and then sparkled into life. It shone steadily, filling the darkening room with a soft light. What a clever idea, Demeke exclaimed. Girma nodded. Though he was disappointed, he still managed to smile at his youngest brother. I think we all agree, said the father, that the house will go to Brahanu. Brahanu smiled, his dark eyes dancing in the flickering candlelight. Thank you, father. Thank you, brothers, he said. Together, Girma, Demeke and Brahanu lit candles in every room. When the whole house was filled with light, they sat down with their father to share their evening meal.